All right, so we're on to our next step here, framing out the walls. We gotta kind of start planning ahead here now because the walls are coming up. We're trying to take into account for where the dividing walls will be in the bus, where the cabinets are gonna go, where the wires are gonna go. You can see here, we kind of made these channels here in between so we can run the wires. I'm not gonna get it too into that right now. Save that for another video. But basically we got 2x4s, ripped them in half, and just like the floor, we got like a 1/2 inch bit drilled halfway through this 2x4, and then finished through with like a 3/16 or something, and then used a tap-in screw, just tapped it into the metal behind it. Here's what kind of screw we used. The ones we used in the studs here were longer. This is just a short one I have laying around. But we drill a hole first just so when we screw this through, the threads don't catch on the wood. And because we drilled halfway through with a 1/2 inch bit, and that allows us to countersink this into the 2x4, you can see it like that. Keeping up with the same plan, trying to create as much of a thermal barrier as we can, you know, isolating the walls inside from the metal walls of the bus. Control the temperature in here. I think this should help a lot too, like feel the metal behind here. That's a lot colder than this wood. It's kind of cooler tonight. It's like mid-40s for some reason, but I can feel how much cooler that metal is than this wood. So once you get that all covered up, you know, on nights when it's cooler, you have a much better chance of keeping the warm air in here, or I guess actually keeping the cold air from coming in. Same goes for the summer too, keeping that heat out. This metal transfer the temperature outside a lot easier than this wood here, so we can block as much of it off as we can. I feel like we'll be in better shape for living in this thing full time. We cut out little grooves down here for when we close or open the windows to push them out. Just get your hands in there. And this part's just kind of for looks. We cut little corners here. I'm gonna sand it down, try to make that look as nice as I can, but we wanted to kind of follow the shape of the window around. We could leave it just square like the rest of them, but I think this has a nicer look to it. So once we finish fastening all these, some of these aren't in there all the way yet, fasten them in. We're gonna run all of our wires, make sure those are all in place first, make sure we got the right wires. I'll put that in another video, like I said, what we used there. So while we frame all this out, we're leaving little channels to run the wires. The bottom down here we're leaving all open because we're going to run water lines and propane lines. So we got to kind of try to figure out where everything's going to be before we, you know, start putting the walls up. I want the wires, all the right wires, to be where they need to be. Propane lines, water lines, know where the kitchen's going to be, bathroom, so I know where to run everything before I start putting up walls, just so I don't have to get back in there afterwards. Get it all in place now, and then get the walls up.